Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Jets Radio. This is one of your hosts, Tyson Roush. It's a preview show. Jets, Cowboys, Sam Darnold returns, the Jets return to MetLife. We have all kinds of excitement, and we desperately need a goddamn win. So let me introduce the man of the people, Long Beach Joe. What is going on, man?
Yeah, what's going on, Ty? Sam's back. Sam is back. We're going into this game with the Cowboys, man. We got to figure out some way to keep him protected. But listen, I am the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote our Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search Let's Talk Jets Radio. Like that page. Our content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message us. We'll message you right back. We love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave us some feedback. We love hearing about what you folks think we do here on Let's Talk Jets Radio. So without further ado, Ty, let's go ahead and get into the show, man. I'm fired up.
Yeah, I'm fired up, too, because we can actually talk about some real football as opposed to the crap that was the last 2 weeks. On Instagram and Twitter, at Talk Jets Radio. We're on YouTube, as a lot of you know, because a lot of you are watching it and a lot of you are leaving comments. Let's Talk Jets Radio on YouTube, and we appreciate all that because it's been completely chaotic. Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. Our call-in number is 929-477-2651. We're also on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, all those things. Pretty much wherever a podcast is, we are. So check it out. I guess, Joe, what we could do is, obviously Sam Darnold is the big news of his return. We can start out with the Jets injury report first. And C.J. Mosley, obviously, is the biggest name. And this injury, I kind of thought it had been like a couple-week injury, and he's out again. And it's like, man, like, this was supposed to be like, you know, our marquee signing, the big-name player, the guy that's going to be the huge impact on our team. Week one, he was probably the best player on the field. He gets hurt, and we haven't seen him since. Dude, it's disappointing, and it's just like he fills such a big need for this team, and it's, you know, another week out.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's kind of how groin injuries work. You know, they get tweaked. That was one of the things that I talked about when it first happened. When I said, I wonder how long this will linger. Sometimes you'll feel good, and then, you know, maybe you cut too hard or you walk on it too hard or you get up too fast or something like that. You might strain it again, and then, boom, you're right back down. So I'm hoping that, you know, he'll get that together in the coming weeks. Hopefully maybe next week he'll be back. He'll feel much better and be ready to go. But like you said, man, that sucks because this is a guy that we need on the field. Like against the Bills, I mean, he was out there making plays, doing his thing, got us a touchdown after, you know, getting himself, I think it was off of an interception he had caught. So, man, listen, he's got to come back sometime soon. But in the meantime, we got to have guys step up. You know, Neville Hewitt is out there. He's played solidly. Blake Cashman has also been in that rotation. He's played solidly, too. We've even seen, you know, Albert McClellan go out there and do his thing as well. So, you know, there's no excuses here. It's the NFL. It's next man up. Everybody preaches that. You know, he'll be sorely missed while we're going out there to battle. But, again, we got some guys that have been able to fill that void, you know, a little bit while he's been gone.
Yeah, Neville Hewitt's last week he was everywhere. He was flying around, very vocal, energetic guy. He does the best he can. You know, you said Cashman. So there are some guys there in the middle that are making up for it. You know, they move Jamal Adams down there a lot to make plays at the line of scrimmage. So there are some things they can do. A big blow again to the defensive line. Henry Anderson's out this week, which to me I mean, listen, I'm a fan of Henry Anderson. He has had kind of a disappointing year this year, in my opinion. I'm not sure if they're using him right or if it's a scheme or whatever the hell it is, but he's out, which is going to put a lot more pressure on Leonard Williams to get off his ass and do something. I mean, Quinnen Williams is a rookie, so he's going to have the highs, the lows, the peaks, the valleys. But, dude, Leonard Williams has got to step it up, especially against this Dallas Cowboy team that's going to try to establish the run. And there's, you know, Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, they got a lot of guys that can move the ball.
Exactly.
If Leonard Williams can't slow things down, this Jets team is in deep trouble.
Exactly, and that was the biggest thing that I was thinking about. You know, you look at this Cowboys team, their identity, they come out and they run the ball, and they run right at you. They punch you right in the mouth. They're very physical up front. We all know about their offensive line, how great that is. And they bring it right to you with Ezekiel Elliott, and they do it to everybody. They don't give a damn who you are. They're going to run the ball, and you just don't have to deal with it. And that is going to put a lot of pressure on Leonard Williams. I mean, he's got a lot of heat on him as of right now as well. A lot of fans screaming for his head. A lot of people want to see him get traded. feeling like he's not doing enough. And I've even called him out on the show as well. I don't feel like he's doing enough either. So this is a game where he's got to step up. And I know you talked about Quentin Williams as well. There's a little bit of pressure on him from the fan base too. Now, I understand that he's a rookie, and we talked about that. But again, when we drafted him, I remember, Tyson, we had a lot of people coming on the show saying that this kid was, he was a can't-miss pass rusher, that he was going to be able to, do things up front. He was going to give us immediate impact. That was the phrase that we consistently heard. So I know a lot of fans are looking at him and saying, okay, he's going to have to be a guy that's going to have to step up and come out here and do this as well. So, again, I understand that he's a rookie. I understand that he's, like you said, he's going to have those up-and-down games. But, look, he's a first-round pick. He's a high first-round pick. Again, he was highly touted. When we drafted him, what was another phrase that they used? Best player in the draft. That's what everybody said. You guys got the best player in the draft. You guys got a guy that can come in day one and make an immediate impact. That's what people say consistently. So we've got to see that, because these are the games where we're going to have to need him to step up.
Yeah, and staying on the defensive side of the ball, another injury, and this one really bothers me, is Nate Hairston, who may not play as well, and that's pretty big in my opinion, because last week I was pissed he wasn't playing. I was watching Nelson Aguilar just roast Tremaine Johnson up and down the field. I'm like, why isn't Hairston playing? And then you find out that he's actually hurt. Having Hairston hurt against the Dallas Cowboy team that features these receivers is bad, dude. I mean, the Jets secondary, Poole has played well. Roberts has been serviceable. Tremaine Johnson blows, and Hairston being out sucks, man. That could be a big injury for the secondary.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you brought up one of the main reasons, the fact that Harrison's out, so now you got to see Tremaine Johnson out there. This guy sucks. I mean, he's terrible. Can you imagine Amari Cooper and him matched up? Amari Cooper's going to have like 500 yards. He's going to have like 500 yards. So you got to figure out some way to scheme to help out Tremaine Johnson, and then because they have other wide receivers as well, and we'll talk about them throughout the show too, that can make plays out there. So that's going to be big. I mean, this injury, like I said, is going to be huge to us because, again, how poorly Tremaine Johnson has played and how bad he's looked, and not against like guys like Amari Cooper or any of these upper echelons outside of this. He's looked bad against regular-ass dudes. Cole Beasley, John Brown were just absolutely having a day against him. So, oh, man, it's going to be a nightmare out there. We're going to see what happens, but they've got to find some way to give Tremaine some help so he's not out there by himself, because this guy he's a complete scrub, and we've seen him just get completely used and abused since he's been here.
Yeah, so now we go to the offensive side of the ball. A couple big injuries there. Kalichi Osemele is out this week, and listen, this offensive line has been a mess. This is a problem because now he's out, and this makeshift line has got to figure out a way to protect Sam Darnold. And to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of faith in that. This injury bothers me. And what bothers me even more is that Adam Gase, when he's asked about how he's going to address his offensive line, he can't even give you a friggin' answer. He's like, well, we're changing things around. We're still trying things out. Dude, it's Friday. I'm hoping that this is like your media game because let's be honest. The rookie last week sucked at right tackle. It was horrendous. He was awful. Bring back Brandon Shell. Because now it's all fun and games of Luke Falk's getting his ass kicked. It's not fun and games of Sam Darnold's running for his life. So you have to put your best five out there, the best five that can work together as a unit. And now with Osemele being out, Joe, that's not ideal, man.
I mean, it is. I mean, he wasn't playing very well either when he was playing. So I look at it like this: Adam Gase doesn't have answers because he's a fraud. If you had answers, we would see a change in the game plan. We'd see adjustments to this offensive line playing so badly. We've talked about them left and right. You can run crossing routes. You can run bootlegs. You can run rollouts. You can do a couple of different things to kind of help your offensive line out. We've seen none of that. We've seen the same consistent, uninnovative, very easy, simple to read game plans. And, this is a game where he's coming in again, where you're going up against a Cowboys defense. They got DeMarcus Lawrence. They got Jalen Smith. They got Robert Quinn. They got guys that can get after it. Robert Quinn he will decapitate Sam if you just put him back there and you don't provide some type of adjustment to what's going to be going on up front. Because we don't have anybody that can block anybody. You named the guys. You can put Shell there. It doesn't matter. He's garbage. Adoga, he's a rookie. And when we drafted him, I consistently talked on this program about it. But he's a project, and we all knew that. I told y'all, I'm a USC guy. I told y'all Tuma wasn't going to be ready first year.
A project shouldn't be playing against. He shouldn't be starting. A project should be playing next year.
Yeah, but exactly. But why is he starting? That's the question. Is why is he starting? Because Shell is so bad. So what does that tell you? So, honestly, and we're not even talking about Khalil. You didn't even mention him. How garbage he's been. I mean,
I'm just trying to do the injuries.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sam is going to be on that list real soon. You're going to be doing the injury list. You're going to start with Sam. But listen, at the end of the day, we've got to make some adjustments here, man. We've got to see adjustments, and they've got to change what they're doing offensively, not just to help this offensive line out, but to also test this Cowboys defense, because they've got a really good defensive coordinator, and this guy was taking head coaching, trips couple during the off season. He had teams that were coming to him that were looking to him to get hired there, and I don't know if he turned them down or what he did, but he wanted to stay here, wanted to stay there, with the Cowboys. So this is a guy that knows, what's up. He knows the deal. He's a guy that can scheme. He's a guy that can put stuff together. So he's gonna have to match wits with Gase. And I'm telling you, if Gase again does not change this offensive game plan, does not become innovative like he was sold to us as, if he doesn't become that guru, that genius, and fix things, dude, they're gonna absolutely destroy Sam.
Sticking with the injuries, Chris Herndon, who was supposed to come back this week, is not coming back this week, and he's not coming back next week either because he hurt his hamstring. Joe, like the injuries with this team, it started out raining. It started out raining. Then it started pouring, and now we're in full monsoon mode, because if you can get hurt, you will get hurt with this team. It's mind-blowing at this point how many guys are getting hurt. And the return of Herndon I was excited about because Sam had good chemistry with him. He's a perfect safety net for Sam. Like, over the middle, open things up, free up Robbie, free up Crowder. Herndon out, you're like, great, that's wonderful. Now we got Ryan Griffin and maybe Wesco. The guy, everybody keeps telling me about Wesco, and I haven't seen him do anything yet. But, the tight end position, Joe, this tight end position is still not a strength where it should be. Herndon being out is a blow. That's a real letdown for this offense.
Yeah, it sucks that he's out. But it is what it is. We haven't played with him since the beginning of the season. Again, like you said, this was going to be the week he was going to come back off that suspension. So I'm not going to allow that to be used as an excuse, because, again, this is the NFL. It is next man up. You look at the situation with the tight end spot, you still got Ryan Griffin. You still got Wesco, who I remember were telling me that he was Baby Gronk, I believe was the phrase. Baby Gronk. He can do all these things, but where is he within this offense?
Swiss knife? Where's the Swiss knife? He can do it all.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife. He can do it all. He's Baby Gronk. He's a Swiss Army knife. He gets after it. So where is this dude at then? So, is he being misused by Gase, or is he not as good as people are telling me? I need to start seeing these things that people keep telling me on, various social media outlets where we're running plays and they're telling me these guys. I need to see this stuff finally for myself on this field. Where are these dudes at? So, again, this is going to be another week and a test for the offensive game plan, how it's put together, and how we utilize, the weapons we have in the tight end spot here. So, I want to see what they do with Griffin. Maybe they have Griffin helping out blocking as well, because the offensive line is so piss poor. And maybe we see Trevon Wesco be used in that role as well. But we'll see what happens. Chris Herndon's down. We'll see when he comes back. But we've got to keep rolling, because it is what it is.
Yeah, and now that we talked about the negatives, we have some positives. And the Jets are getting back two starters on defense. First, Brandon Copeland from suspension, and hopefully Jordan Jenkins as well. And that's helped.
Yeah.
Two outside linebackers that they're very good pass rushers. Jordan Jenkins is very good against the run as well. He sets the edge pretty well. So if they both, obviously Copeland will return, but if Jenkins can come back, Joe, that's definitely a help for this defense, who, if they can't stop the run, if they do stop the run by some miracle, they got to get after the pass rush. They have to get a pass rush, and Jenkins and Copeland can both do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Copeland was one of the dudes that we were talking about before the season. We were hoping would really help out for this pass rush, because we said, hey, we don't have one guy, but we got a couple guys that are kind of decent at pass rushing, and he was one of the names that we consistently bring up. So I'm excited to see him back. I want to see what he brings coming off that suspension. Jordan Jenkins, I know he's still dealing with that calf injury. I'm hoping that he's good enough to really get out there and play. We'll see how good he is, how well he's healed. But he's a guy, again, like you said, comes down, really sets the edge very well, is very solid in run support, and honestly has been one of the sneaky pass rushers on our team. I think, like, last year, he was one of the leaders in sacks. I think he had 8 sacks. He was like first or second on our team or something like that in sacks. And I don't think anybody would have guessed that he would have been the guy that was up there, because that was one of the things we were questioning about him coming into the year was, hey, what can this guy do as far as pass rushing? And something that he was working on as well. So it'd be great to have him back as well. So those are two welcomed additions.
Yeah, in terms of the Cowboys, they have some injuries as well. The biggest story with them is their tackles. From everything I read, Tyron Smith will play. The left tackle will play. And it looks like La'el Collins will not play, their right tackle. But that offensive line remains one of the best in football. I mean, they're as stout as it comes, and they embrace next man up, and they have no problems. And they actually had a play call too, which kind of helps. So it's going to be interesting, Joe. And I guess the biggest story of all the injuries and all the stuff is the return of Sam Darnold, which obviously is phenomenal. I mean, it's something that we've been waiting for. But before we even go into that, and I don't want to start a whole other rant because I'm exhausted, but I would love to know why, after all we've seen from Luke Falk, is he your backup quarterback? Like, do the Jets, have they learned nothing that he's not an NFL quarterback? Why not bring in a capable backup, Joe? Like, in just terms of roster management, just in terms of your team, Sam is coming off a very serious situation. What if he doesn't feel well? What if he, God forbid, goes down? What if all this happens? You feel comfortable, again, handing over this team to Luke Falk? Why not sign a competent backup quarterback? Is this team that stupid or that cheap?
Well, I think, again, you're talking about, this is Adam Gase. That's the Adam Gase guy. And we've also often seen Adam Gase go with familiarity over, talent. Because I remember when we were talking about Braxton Berrios, and we were like, why is he here when you got Dortch, a guy that was really showing some stuff, very solid punt returner. He was doing things out there. And, even, the other wide receivers, there were other wide receivers we were talking about as well that were better than this guy. Why is he here? Because Adam Gase is familiar with him. Adam Gase wanted him on the team. But we're starting to see that he's not giving us as much as we thought he would either. So, look, if Adam Gase wants Luke Falk on this team, and that's what he feels like he wants to do here, and he thinks that Falk can carry the load, it is what it is at this point. I'm throwing my hands up. Look, I hear what you're saying about, guys like Brock Osweiler and Josh Johnson, who, those guys are trash too, but at the end of the day, if he wants to stick with Luke Falk, it is what it is.
It's incompetent.
We've seen this guy hold on to the ball for 40 years.
It falls on him and Joe Douglas. I don't understand why everybody's okay. See, the thing is, most Jeff fans have already given up on the season because they're so disgusted. But it's this is an indictment on Joe Douglas too. They're sitting there looking at this team and the entire NFL saying, you know what? If Sam goes down, we're still cool with Luke Falk. Based on what, dude? He's not an NFL quarterback. He's proven it to us. So you're willing to just concede the season. Sam goes down, we're just going to keep losing. And and yes, Josh Johnson is not an NFL starter. He's a capable backup. That's a lot more than Luke Falk is. But whatever. They want to keep acting like ignorant idiots when it hits the wind again, which it will. It's on them, including Joe Douglas. This guy's getting a pass. This team is 0-4. They have holes, and nothing is really happening. There's not much roster tinkering. It's not going. It's strange, man. But the big story is the return of Sam Darnold, and obviously he's going to wear protective pads, which aren't going to really do much because it's an internal injury. And now it's a matter of, Joe, it's twofold. It's going to come down to protect him and then game plan for him. And obviously we've already touched on it. The number one story going into this game, and this is priority number one, is protect Sam Darnold after watching 3 weeks of horrendous line play. Not bad, horrendous. Arguably the worst offensive line in football, and now you're bringing back your franchise quarterback. To say I'm nervous about it is an understatement because, Joe, you mentioned the names. And these are guys, and it's funny seeing some of these names, because these are players that Jets could have signed, they didn't, like Robert Quinn. You look at the pass rushers, dude. Robert Quinn, you mentioned DeMarcus Lawrence. Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch get after it. These guys fly around, man. They are legitimate attack. Dallas is a very fast, a very aggressive defense, and when they see weakness, like our offensive line, dude, they're going to get after it. And you said Robert Quinn could do damage. DeMarcus Lawrence, these guys can just not only disrupt the passing game, they can knock Sam out of the game.
Absolutely. And they absolutely could. To be honest with you, I don't have any faith that we'll be able to protect Sam, and let me tell you why. We had 2 weeks to prepare for the Eagles, and this offensive line was already playing horribly. We were already playing really bad. Bad. That game against the Browns was horrid. That game against the Pats was horrid. It was bad. Guys were just, it was a jailbreak. They looked even worse against the Eagles. We gave up 10 sacks. I don't think we'd given up 10 sacks the entire year until we played the Eagles. I think that's the most sacks that we've given up the year so far. We looked horrid out there. Terrible. and that was after 2 weeks of preparation. Like, what excuse can you really have after that? The guy, well, do they not know the scheme? After all these weeks, they still don't know the scheme? What is it? What are you practicing? Are you not practicing? Is it communication? So after all these weeks, we haven't fixed the communication? So you had 2 weeks to prepare for the Eagles, and you have, a week to prepare for the Cowboys. Do I think the protection would be better? No. I am very thankful that Sam is wearing all those pads. I want to wrap him in bubble wrap just to help out as well, because I think he's going to take a lot of shots. And even if you go back to that Bills game, dude, the pocket was collapsing around him. I remember he was trying to run away from pressure, and he couldn't even get away because it was everywhere. There was nowhere to run. It was like a circle that just collapsed on top of him, and he would just go down. So, look, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think they'll be able to protect Sam. I think Sam is going to have to use his feet and get out of there as soon as possible and get the ball out of his hands as soon as possible. That's the only thing I think is going to help here. And you brought up another dude, Van Der Esch is another guy that guy comes off the edge. He don't give a damn about nobody. I mean, he is coming with bad intentions, and he's going to finish you if you dare. So Sam's got to get the ball out of his hands extremely quickly. We've got to run the ball effectively. I think it's huge. I think the game plan we have to have, and I know that Adam Gase is probably not going to do this, but the game plan we have to have is kind of like what the Saints did. We're going to have to run the ball. We're going to have to wind the clock out. We're going to have to keep the Cowboys' offense out, but also kind of punish the defense a little bit. We've got to put it together, and we got to complete drives. You've got to get more first downs than like one every half or something like that. Like, you've got to put together some drives and get the football down the field. So it's going to be tough, but like I said, I don't necessarily believe in the protection here. I just don't think that we have the players for it, and I don't think we have the scheme for it either.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. You look at the offensive line, the struggles, and then the spotlight goes directly on Adam Gase, where it's like, all right, man, now you have to adjust to a bad line, whether that's moving Sam out of the pocket, whether it's quick passing game, the hurry-up offense. You got to find ways to get this done, and you got to find ways to get it done fast. And the other thing I worry about, too, is Sam's rust. At some point, you got to get him comfortable. Some easy throws, get him into rhythm. He's got Adam Gase has a lot of responsibility in this game, which makes me even more nervous. So it's like you have all these things, and then you have an aggressive Cowboys defense. And I'm not going to lie, not even because of the Notre Dame thing, Jalen Smith is a phenomenal linebacker. That dude is fast. Sean Lee is fast. These guys get after it. And one of the biggest problems the Jets have, they've been slow in blitz pickup all through the last 3 weeks. I mean, they were getting beat by three-man rush. You have these guys where it's like, dude, they will just come at, and it's like a shark in water. When they smell blood, they're going to come after you. So Adam Gase has so much responsibility in terms of protecting his quarterback, changing it up. I mean, his story this week was, I didn't use Ty Montgomery because not enough plays. Okay, you've given you've run out of excuses now. He's run out of excuses, dude. You have all these guys, whether it's Berrios, whether you have guys that you get the ball to them in space, whether it's Crowder, Montgomery, like, stop it. I don't want to see Le'Veon Bell 2-yard run, Le'Veon Bell 3-yard run, third down sack, punt. You got to change up and make it more believable. You got to keep them off balance, offset the pass rush, use all your weapons. Like, this is the game where you cannot get conservative, play scared to lose, worry about Sam. Like, if you're that worried about Sam or you're not going to throw the ball, he shouldn't be playing. So it's going to be interesting, man. This game plan I'm worried about the offensive line. In terms of confidence in our offense against the Cowboy defense, I don't have much. And I hate being like that. I know we're all excited. Like, Sam is back. It's home game. Like, dude, if you look at the numbers, you look at the stats, the Cowboys are coming off a bad loss. They're going to be pissed. They're going to be playing in front of probably 40,000 of their own fans. Dude, I'm worried about this. This matchup going this way, I don't like it. The Cowboys defense, I think, has the advantage. And Adam Gase has a lot of pressure on him to offset it and not get embarrassed.
Absolutely. And I saw that quote, and we don't have enough plays. You don't have enough plays because,
they're down 30 running the ball with Bell. Give me a break, clown.
Yeah, what do you mean you don't have enough plays? You're giving everything, to Le'Veon Bell. I think, the last game, I think it was Scott, he was 85% of the offensive plays went to him or something like that. It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
That's complete. What do you mean you don't have enough plays? What do you mean with that? Come on. It's like I said, this is why I can't stand Adam Gase. But, yeah, like you said, look, we've got to find some way to move the football down the field. We've got to find some way to keep drives going. Here's a novel idea. How about get the ball to Robbie Anderson? I know, nobody else remembers this guy, but I kind of do. I don't know. Maybe you can hit him with a slant, hit him on something, so we can get this guy the football in his hand. He can continue to be what we thought he was going to be coming into the year, which is explosive. We all know he's fast. We all know when he gets the ball in his hands, he's able to make plays. Why don't we do some things like that? Why don't we make some adjustments, do some different stuff to kind of throw the Cowboys off? Because like you said, this Cowboys defense is ferocious. They don't play any games whatsoever. They have the guys up front, and they can bring it. And they're pissed off coming off of a bad loss, too. They're looking at this game like this is the game that we need to get in there and get right. This is the game where we need to punish this team so we can really impose our will going forward. So we've got to step up, man. I'm just hoping that, again, that Adam Gase is up to the task. Because like you said, there's a lot of things he's responsible for. And he's going up against a Dallas defensive coordinator that is really about business as well. This is a guy that game plans extremely well. And this is a guy that understands his team, their identity, and what they do well. So I'm hoping I don't see Gase get out-coached. So it's going to be a tough one, man, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so we went through the Jets offense. There's definitely some questions there. On the defensive side of the ball, we touched on the injuries. And to me, it's not really about the injuries as much as it's about the talent the Cowboys have. And the first thing is, obviously, Joe, their offense starts with Ezekiel Elliott. Starts and ends with him.
Oh, yeah.
If he gets running, if he gets rolling, if they can't slow him down, the game's over. It's that easy where once he gets rolling, play action pass goes, or they do the run pass option with Dak Prescott, you got to stop him, and that makes me nervous right at the bat. It's like, all right, you have just like Leonard Williams, Quinnen Williams, Steve McClendon. That defensive front has got to be stout. They've got to be consistent. Because the thing is, even if you try to stop Elliott, you got to stop Dak Prescott from running around too. They've got to contain.
Absolutely.
They have to. It's priority number one. If they can't stop Elliott, Joe, this is a different type of running back, man. He will run you over and make you a highlight reel in 2 seconds.
Absolutely. And, that's something we've seen throughout this entire year is us get gashed by running backs and teams that are not as good as the Cowboys up front. I remember, when Singletary was out there, when Bills finally decided to run him, he had 4 carries for 70 yards. They were just gashing us. The Eagles ran on us very well as well. We was kind of bend but don't break. We kept them out of the end zone, but they ran on us pretty well too. So this is a team you coming in. Their offensive identity is get the ball to Ezekiel Elliott, and then they work off of that. And this is a back that, like you said, he's special, dude. Some people say he's the best back in the league. He's one of the best, however you feel about that. But, he's coming with all business, and they got the guys up front to get guys blocked too. That's why Leonard Williams has got to step up, dude. He's got to step up. You can't be out here allowing these guys to open holes big enough to run a bus through, and you just sitting around. I don't want to hear no more about this dude. Oh, he's looking good every week. If he's getting ran by, if he's on his ass, 24/7, if guys are just pushing him aside and he's not getting in, making a play when you need it, I'm tired of hearing that stuff. I want to start seeing this, man. I want to start seeing what everybody is saying. I want you to make me a believer. Again, another guy, he's the best player in the draft. Then where the hell is the impact from him? He needs to start impacting the game when it matters the most, because all the other players around the league that were considered the best they make the impact when it's needed the most. Calais Campbell, great defensive lineman, he makes that impact when it's needed the most. We talk about other guys around the league as well that's considered some of the best. They make that impact when it's needed the most, so he needs to do that as well. Again, they work off of that, and then you got Dak Prescott, who's a guy, like you said, he can run as well. He gets outside that pocket, and, man, he can really get going, but he can also use his arm, too. He had some very successful games early this season where he was throwing the football around. And don't get it confused at all. Our secondary is hot garbage, especially if we're talking about Tremaine Johnson being matched up with Cooper. Or, hell, it ain't like Michael Gallup can't do work either. They have other guys, too, Tavon Austin, that can come around. We know about Devin Smith. He's a speedster. He's trash, but he can go out there and run. He runs extremely well. He's a fast guy, and he can break open if guys aren't smart in coverage. So we got to make sure that we can get these guys covered, man.
Yeah, and you forgot Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb's there. You got 4 guys, and it's like, to me, Tavon Austin is an X factor. That's a guy that can run the ball. He can do all kinds of things, and it's just speed. If you look across the Cowboys, what they have is speed. Speed everywhere. If you look at the Jets secondary, the one thing they lack right now is speed. And that is beyond concerning. And then you add in Jason Witten, who'll give you 4 or 5 catches a game over the middle to keep you honest. They have a lot of weapons, man. The whole thing starts with You got to stop the run, and you got to make Dak Prescott uncomfortable. You make him uncomfortable, he'll throw the interception. He'll get erratic. He'll get clumsy. He'll do dumb things. You let him be comfortable. You let him sit around and make plays. Dude, they have such great weapons, and Amari Cooper is just a man amongst boys, and him against Tremaine Johnson is a complete joke. I mean, Randall Cobb against him is a complete joke. I mean, I just don't see it. You want to, a lot of Jet fans think this is a very winnable game. The Jets are going to win, and this and that. But when you look at the matchups, you look at all the uncertainty surrounding the Jets. Joe, I don't see it. I just don't. There's so many things to worry about on both sides of the ball, and there's so many question marks because you're asking the Jets to do things they haven't done the first 4 weeks of the season. Yes, the defenses hold their own. They have, but this is a whole other animal here because Ezekiel Elliott is just a beast. Amari Cooper, all these guys. I mean, last week the Jets were getting dusted by Nelson Aguilar, but Carson Wentz couldn't hit him. Dak Prescott's deep ball to Amari Cooper is lethal. I mean, they just do that. That's part of their game plan. So, I don't know, man. There's some legitimate questions here. I don't know how this is going to play out, to be honest with you. It doesn't look pretty, though. Anything? Joe? Am I talking to myself?
Yeah, block talk, damn it. Can you hear me now? Okay, look.
Yeah.
Listen, you were talking about Dak Prescott, making Dak Prescott uncomfortable. And I'm like, well, who exactly is going to do that on our team? Because we've been looking for a pass rusher for quite some
time. Hopefully Copeland and Jordan Jenkins.
Yeah, we're hoping that they come back and they just give us some immediate impact. But, I mean, somebody's got to do something. We've got to find some way to get a consistent pass rush on him. Maybe a guy like Terrell Basham, a guy that we've been seeing, do some things here and there. Maybe he really has a big game this game, but we've got to find, those one or two guys that are going to make that impact. Because, again, like you said, you brought up names of guys that's in the conversation, but, outside of Copeland, again, he's coming back off that suspension, but, where's Frankie been all these weeks? Where's the consistent pass rush here? That's the issue that we've been having. We've been having guys just stand back there. The Browns game, Baker had 40 minutes of time to throw the football. I mean, he was just back there doing whatever. That's how we lost a lot of these games because we weren't getting any pressure. So we've got to find some way, to get after Dak. I don't know if you necessarily want to send a lot of blitzes because that will get you cooked because that's leaving Tremaine Johnson one-on-one with a lot of guys, leaving our secondary exposed. So we'll see what happens, how they scheme it up, because like you said, Amari Cooper is one hell of a player, but I'm telling you, Gallup is a guy that can get after it too. I know Cobb is out there as well. I think he's dealing with a back injury, though, so I don't know if he's going to play or not. But still, they've got guys, like you said, out there that have speed, and once they get behind the defense, oh, man, it can get out of hand because Dak will just launch that football up, and it'll be an easy touchdown.
Yeah, like I said, and the guy for me is Tavon Austin. That's the one guy that's just he has that sneaky quickness.
Yep.
Where you're like, all right, he's a running back, he's a receiver, he's all these different things, and it's like, all right, how are they going to do this? So, I mean, it is going to be interesting. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Randall Cobb didn't practice today. You're right. I didn't see that. I read the thing wrong. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. So what we'll do is we'll go to the phones and see what happens. Get your thoughts on this. A lot of questions from me on both sides of the ball, and the other thing is just. Who's going to rally the troops here? Where you're 0-4, you're facing a good team at home, where it's not going to be a true home field advantage, where there's going to be a ton of Cowboy fans there. So you got to start off fast. If you start off slow, they start off slow and get down a quick 7-0 or 10-3 or something like that. The crowd will turn on them, and it'll become an ugly, ugly environment at MetLife Stadium. So it's interesting. We're going to bring on Tyrone. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yo. What's going on, brothers, man? I want to, first of all, I want to say, man, great show so far, man. Also, great show Tuesday. I want to change the whole direction of what you guys are saying, though. I think the running part, them running on us, is not going to be that big of an issue, man. We really swarm to the ball really well. What scares me to death is secondary and their offensive line. And, I think that's going to be the biggest issue with us getting pressure. We really haven't gotten any pressure lately. And then offensively, I think Sam will get the ball out of his hands quicker. But what scares me to death is, I don't want to see Sam get killed back there. But I think Sam is smart enough to understand he has to get, he can't hold the ball. It's 1, 2, 3, ball got to be out. It has to be. That's the only way you can be able to combat their aggressive defense, man. But our secondary kind of scares me a little bit, man. Defensively, man, I think we've been okay, but they have a solid offense and they have a really extremely fast defense, man. And I think that getting the ball to Robbie, and I don't think it's just getting the ball to Robbie. I think you have to go downfield. I think, Robbie and what's the other guy that scored a touchdown last week? Have these guys who go routes. It just you got to make a play honest. I mean, everybody. Go ahead.
Listen, Tyrone. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in, and I hear what you're saying, but look, I want to start with the offensive side of the game first for them. I know you think that they're not going to be able to run on that side, but I don't know if anybody knows, this is the number one ranked offense in yards per game. Okay, they're coming in with the number one, and they still haven't like totally figured it out yet. Like they're still, kind of bumps in the road for them in certain spots, so they haven't like totally figured it out. But they're number one. And I think they're like 6th in the league in rushing. They're number 1 in the league, I think, in passing yards, something like that. So I do think that we're going to have some issues running the football because that's literally what the Cowboys do. They come in with Ezekiel Elliott and they run. And I know you said we swarmed to the ball, but we didn't swarm to the ball against Devin Singletary when he was here. We didn't swarm to the ball very well when the Eagles were running out there sometimes. So we got to figure out some way to really stay stout and have that wall up front. But for me, it's getting to Dak Prescott and it's finding a way. And I want to get your thoughts on this, man. Do you think that getting Copeland back will help with that? Do you think that this is a game where he'll be able to come out and really impose his will defensively?
I mean, if it was any other team with that good offensive line, I would probably say yes. I just think that they're solid in their offensive line. I mean, so I don't think that we're going to be able to really get pressure like that. And I think that the problem is our back end is so bad. I think that Greg Williams tries to compensate for the lack of pass rush or the lack of ability to be able to cover. But also, I'm not saying that Zeke won't get yards, but if we can keep Zeke to 100 yards, that's not a bad day to be able to stop, Prescott. What happens is Zeke gets 120 yards and the play action opens up, and that's the problem. That's our weakness right there. That play action with Tremaine Johnson out there, that's the issue. And I'm hoping old boy Harrison is actually better and able to play, man. I mean, I think Tremaine Johnson can't cover anybody on Dallas. I mean, who would you put him on? I mean, there's nobody he can actually cover, on one-on-one. So you're going to have to go with his zone. So you're going to have to, you're trying to hide him, but also get pressure as well. So we can't get there with 4. I'm hoping that Leo and I'm hoping that Q, you know what I'm saying? I hope these guys step up this weekend and add a little bit of pressure. But if we don't get pressure with 4 or 5, it's going to be a long day because they're going to be able to you know what I'm saying, hit with the play action and go deep, and they're going to run right by Tremaine Johnson. And he sits there in the last couple of weeks. I mean, if Aguilar wouldn't have dropped those 2 passes, bro, that was 14 points. And, and he ran right by him. It wasn't like you didn't see him coming. He was running full speed. So that's the issue right there. But I still think that if we come out and are able to stymie Dallas a little bit, because I think the last couple of weeks they struggle, and I think defensively we played well. I mean, the key to this game is going to be how Sam plays, how we protect for Sam, and Gase getting the ball out of Sam's hand, giving Sam into a rhythm. Everyone's talking about Sam coming back. Sam hasn't played ball in 5 weeks. So Sam is going to be rusty. He's going to be a little nervous.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He's going to take a few series for Sam to even get back to being Sam. And Joe, you and Tyson both said something earlier. If we get down 10 points, it could be a long day. So I just think
Absolutely.
that, having a smarter quarterback, being able to recognize defenses, being able to get the ball out of his hand, and, not having Chris Herndon really hurts. Because I think with Dallas, the one weak point they have is in their zone, they play a man zone, basically. But having Herndon up the middle, up the seam, would really been big for Sam, having somebody he can throw the ball to as well, and using Le'Veon different and using Montgomery as well, man. I mean, I just think that if we can do something like that, we have a real good chance of being in this. But defensively, I think our defense will hold us in it, man. We've been in the last couple of weeks, and Dallas has really struggled, man. I think that what you try to do is take the Saints and the Green Bay blueprint and try to apply that to us and see what we can do. I mean, Green Bay has probably better corners than we have right now, but I think up front, if Leo and Q can get there and and Copeland comes back and double J plays, but also, Joe, we lead the league in swarming to a tackler. We lead the league by far by that. So, just a little food for thought, fellas.
All right, Tyrone, you gave us all this analysis. What is your prediction?
Yo, man, why I got to be number one, bro? Tyson just put me on the spot. Yo, I'm going to say 21-23, and I'm going to go against something I don't, but I'm going to say 23-21. Jets take the victory. Sam Leach is back. Le'Veon had 90 yards on the ground, 85 yards in the air. Jets come up with the win. Robbie has a touchdown. Let's go, baby. Jets up!
Have a good night, man. Thanks for calling in. He's all fired up. It's good to hear. See now, Joe,
Sure.
our next guest, our next caller, sorry, not really a guest, he's a caller, is I'm hoping that he has escaped the basement, Joe. I was worried about him. I had a fear he was locked in the basement. I'm hoping that he's out of the basement. Let's see if he's back. Steve, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, we can hear him, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to talk to Steve. Steve, I was a little nervous. I was a little worried. I was wondering what was going on in that basement. Why you were there. Were you tied up in the basement? What was happening? I'm just glad that you're out of there and you're safe and sound.
Well, I'm here to talk Jets football tonight. I got to say, the thing that's exciting about this game, is obviously the return of Sam Darnold. The thing, though, that worries me, is our secondary in this game. I mean, we're going up against a very talented Dallas offense, I mean, it starts with their offensive line and Zeke Elliott, and then you've got Amari Cooper, and then you've got, with Jason Witten. I mean, here's the thing. Ever since Amari Cooper came to the Cowboys, that was like a gift for Dak Prescott. I mean, when Prescott got Amari Cooper, it was like a Christmas gift for him because the Cowboys have had a legit offense ever since Amari Cooper has joined that team. And the defensive front of the Cowboys is something that I'm also nervous too about that game because with the defensive front is because the way of how our offensive line has been struggling. I mean, and there's also a possibility that their best linebacker on their team, which is Jalen Smith, and also you also forgot to mention Sean Lee.
Oh my God. We're back to that? Really? We're back to that. I thought it was over. I thought we were done with that. I thought that was put away. I thought it was buried in Steve's basement. But I see it's back. I see you dug it back up. And I see this. Steve, you got to take that and leave that in your basement, dude. Find somewhere to lock that up and bury that in your basement forever, man. Bury that in your basement forever.
Well, yeah, okay, but I mean, it's just going to be, and the thing is, what's also most nerve-wracking is having all those Cowboy fans in MetLife Stadium. I mean, you guys have said this before about MetLife Stadium about
why is it nerve-wracking?
How we don't draw because there's going to be like 40% of
the Jets
you
to
even
start off
said.
fast. Yeah, but it should motivate the Jets to start off fast and play good football. Don't come out flat. Don't come out conservative. Play good, competitive, aggressive football, and get the crowd behind you instead of against you. I mean, don't come out flat. Come out with some inspiring play calling. Play aggressive. Play fast. Get that place rowdy and on your side.
That's something I am hoping for. I mean, and now with the return, of Brandon Copeland, and hopefully Jordan Jenkins will be playing on Sunday, and, hopefully there'll be a pass rush. I mean, I just hope that the Jets could just find a way, and hopefully Adam Gase can find a way to get the Jets off to a fast start. Because if you said this before, if Dallas starts off pretty fast, the crowd is going to go against them.
Oh, it's going to be a boo fest. I mean, Jet fans are going in this game. Everybody is excited about Sam, but they're like one touchdown away from just booing because everybody get pissed real quick. Like, oh, we've seen this again and everything else. So, Steve, if you had 3 keys to the game, what are your 3 keys to the game for the Jets to win?
You got to stop Ezekiel Elliott. That's one thing. The offensive line has to protect Sam against that strong Cowboys defensive front. And honestly, the Jets secondary has to play well because if the secondary doesn't play well, I mean, if let's say Tremaine Johnson has to start, if Nate Harrison is not going to play, and if Tremaine Johnson is on Amari Cooper, he's got to stick with Amari Cooper. I mean, we've seen it before this season of how many times Johnson has been burned. So I think those are the 3 key matchups.
Okay, and your prediction for the game?
You know something? I'm actually going to say this, and people can call me crazy. I think the Jets are going to make an upset on Sunday. I'm going to go 27-24 Jets.
Have a good night, Steve. Thanks for calling in.
Good night.
Joe, I'm pretty sure the Notre Dame song scared the hell out of him.
Man, I'm first off, shout out to Steve for calling in. He always brings the heat. I'm just glad he's, out of that basement. I was really concerned for Steve. I was wondering what was going on. If he needed to DM me, I would have called the authorities in case, you know what I mean? But it's good to hear that he's, like I said, he's safe and sound, because who knows what could have been going on in that basement. He was stuck down there, sounded like he was calling us from Mars. We didn't know what was happening, but we're just glad that Steve is safe and sound, man. He's safe and sound. He's out of that basement, so he's good to go.
We're going to go to Eric in California. Eric, what's up, man?
Fellas, it's been a while, but glad to finally be on the air with you guys. Or not on the air, but on the, I usually listen on a podcast, but I've been itching to talk to you guys. I want to first say that, man, it feels awful to have been wrong about Leonard Williams. I really thought that once we drafted Quinnen, that Leonard would be freed up to have one-on-one opportunities as a 3 technique and just manhandle the guy in front of him as he did his first year and as he did in college. But what an utter disappointment, man. Jesus, he's got to. If we could get anything for him, I would trade him right now. And I've been wanting to talk to you guys. One thing I was right about was Jermaine Johnson. Everybody was excited to see him get back with our defensive coordinator, and they thought he's going to be in a system where he gets to man up people, but he's too big and too heavy. And he's too slow. He's listed at 215. He needs to be 20 pounds lighter to even have a chance. But at this point, I think we're better off just cutting the guy and freeing up the roster spot. I've been meaning to talk to you guys about that for a few weeks now. But so what's up, guys?
It's rough with him. So, well, give us if you look at the Cowboys' offense, I mean, they're loaded. They have, you have Cooper, Ezekiel, you have Witten, who's still, serviceable, Gallup, Tavon Austin. If you're the Jets defensive coordinator, how do you attack them?
I'm not a believer in Dak Prescott. Everybody tries to compare him to Russell Wilson. He is not freaking Russell Wilson, man. And you've seen that. Look at the teams he's played the first 3 games, and he's throwing up some stats and winning games, and everybody thought he's a $30 million quarterback. There's no way in hell I'd give that dude $30 million. So I force him to beat me, and you have to do that by stopping Elliott, shutting him down, and getting pressure however you can to force Dak to make plays. He's not an upper echelon quarterback. I think if we could do that, we could stay in the game for as long as possible. But the offense, I mean, watching these games the last few weeks has just been absolutely brutal. I wasn't expecting to win with a freaking, Luke Falk at quarterback. He doesn't even belong in the NFL. I'm not expecting to win, but you have to show something, man. You have to show that you're competent and being able to move the ball down the field. And Adam Gase is just he is what I thought he was at before. When the hire was made, he's not the offensive genius that everybody claims he is. I don't know, man. I'm just really disappointed with his output or his play design, his play calling, his inability to make any kind of adjustment. I was dying to call after week 1, which a game that we should have won, and it was absolutely a must-win, as you can tell from what's happened since. Dude, where are the rollouts? Where's the quick passing game? He's not blocking the defensive end. The defensive ends in that game had like 6 batted balls because they're just free rushers. What the hell, man?
Just crashing down.
I don't understand it. Anybody, I've been listening to the podcast, and there's people that are still supporting him for God knows what reason. He hasn't shown me anything, dude. And if this continues on the path where I think it's headed, Joe, you said that there's built-in excuses for him. There's absolutely no way. I'll put it on the record. He's not coming back. If we do not show improvement, it doesn't have to be in the win-loss column. It has to be with improvement on the offense, being able to just move the ball. If he's able to do that as an offensive genius, he can't come back.
Yes, and listen, and first off, I want to thank you for calling in. I hear you. I never wanted Adam Gase. I don't want him here now. But I'm telling you, there's excuses. And like you said as well, there's still people out there defending him on Twitter. There's portions of the media that defend him. I mean, how many times do we hear, well, he's got Luke Falk. What do you expect him to do? Well, he could at least look competent. We saw everywhere around the NFL, before Sam came back, we saw guys playing with backup quarterbacks, and they were still able to at least look competent. He wasn't even doing that. I mean, his game plans were extremely vanilla, very conservative, easy to figure out, and you still had people, protecting him and not placing the blame where it properly belonged, which was squarely in his lap for the horrible game plan and the horrible play calling. So I'm telling you, look, I hear you. I know a lot of fans will want to get him fired as well, but I just personally don't believe he's gone after year one. But I want to kind of get away from that because we're talking about this Cowboys game. Like you said, Sam's coming back. They've got a bunch of pads on him now. What are you expecting out of him in this game? And do you think we'll be able to protect him properly against this Cowboys defensive front?
No, not going to be able to protect him. He's not going to have a lot of time, but he flourishes on plays, on broken plays. He makes stuff happen because you saw it at USC. When the play breaks down, he's able to buy time and make something out of nothing. He does that well. So the offensive line just has to be able to stay in front of. Don't allow free rushers. If you keep him clean for 2 seconds, I mean, and that's not a lot of time. At least gives him a chance and let it'll allow his ability to improvise, to come into play. But yeah, I'm not confident in what the offensive line is going to be able to do, and I wouldn't expect a whole lot from Sam. People are thinking that he's going to come and save the season. The dude hasn't. Mono usually drops people for like 6 weeks. Exactly. I've heard. I've seen it put people out of commission for 2 months. The guy. Yep. How much preparation has he really had? How is he in football shape? I don't expect a lot from him. I hope he plays his bag off and saves us. But I think to put that kind of pressure on him and to expect that, man, that's a lot, dude. I'm just hoping that we give him just a little bit of time and keep him from getting put on his back. And I'm hoping, man. It's all we got. It's hope right now.
All right, Eric, we did a lot of game analysis. What's your prediction for Sunday?
Wow, I don't believe. Look, the defense has really played well in light of the inept offense. I expect that to hold, and I expect the team to be just fired up because they got Sam back. So I'm expecting a close game, but I really, really want to pick the Jets. You know what the hell? I'm going to pick them. 2017. I think we pull it out. We're going to have to get one of these wins here. We're going to have to get a win that's not expected of us if we're going to have any hope of turning this thing around. So I'm going to go with the Jets this week. And plus, Dak, he's not great.
Good to hear from you, man. Thanks for calling in.
I'll talk to you guys. Bye.
Joe, this is a big game on Sunday, and Jet fans they were expressing all their concerns and their worries, and they're all predicting victory. It's interesting, man.
Yeah, listen, I want to thank the last caller for calling in. There's a lot of people that believe, hey, the Cowboys are a team that we can, go in there and absolutely, take that W away from. So I understand what they're saying. I hear their optimism, but when you look at the concerns that we have, I don't know how you can come out with that. I just don't know.
All right, we'll stay with the very busy phones. We are going to go to Guillermo in Brooklyn. What's up, man?
What's up, guys?
You sound defeated, man. Are you all right? It's Friday night. We're talking football. What could be wrong?
Because you guys are getting optimistic because Sam is back. And look, I'm
hold on. Time out. Joe and I, neither one of us are optimistic. We both just gave you 40 minutes of doom and gloom. The callers are optimistic. We're not.
I apologize. I just called in because you know why? Usually your voices aren't as like, you know, I guess Joe's voice always just the same, kind of like optimistic, but you didn't sound as angry as you did, and I wasn't able to feed off that anger like last time, so I was just kind of disappointed how happy you guys sounded. But the negativity is still there, so thank you. I apologize, and I will never assume that you're happy about the Jets as long as we have this quagmire of a front office and coaching staff there. I apologize 100%, but Joe, you need to fix it up, man. You disgust me with your happiness. It's just annoying watching these videos where you're talking slow and guys, we gotta, you know, just get through it. You know, half glass full. We could do it. Stop, Joe. What is wrong with you?
Man, come on, man. Listen, first off, I want to thank you for calling in. Look,
don't thank me, man. Stop thanking people for calling in, man. Be angry. What's wrong with you?
Man,
I'm just joking.
Look, man. Yeah, listen. I got a lot of love for you as well. Listen, there's always another day. We can continue to live. We're all fans. We've been through this before. You know, hopefully in the future this team will fix itself. So that's why I'm always looking at the brighter side, because there's next day is another chance to fix this football team. But you look at this matchup going into the Cowboys game, and I'm saying to myself, defensively, we've got quite a task at hand. We've got to figure out how to corral Ezekiel Elliott. And, man, I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you think we'll be able to slow him down? Because if we don't, man, it's going to be a long day for us.
Well, funny enough, he's on my fantasy team, and he hasn't been doing as good as a guy that I wanted, who was Christian McCaffrey. But with Ezekiel Elliott, obviously he's a dynamic player. He can catch from the backfield. I mean, his running is beautiful. I think the biggest thing with the Cowboys, though, once you kind of stop him, I think, one, we have to go man. It sucks because Tremaine Johnson's still on this team. I don't know if you could just have him kind of like as a Raider back, just have him play with the tight ends or slower guys. I don't know. He's just awful. But I think with Zeke, yes, you can stop him, right? You got to stop the run. The biggest thing with Dak is that you got to stop the run. That stops the play action, and you got to keep him in the pocket, and you got to play man. You can't play zone where guys can sit in, and he can just dink and dunk, or he can just catch guys in the open zone. You can't allow Ezekiel to catch out of the backfield, so he's got to be cognizant of him. And you got to do it where basically you collapse the outsides of the pocket, right? You can't, let him step up and try to be a real quarterback. You know, he's not Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is actually, he can throw it outside the pocket, whatever. But he's not good as a conventional quarterback, right? He still can't catch guys. He's not the greatest at catching guys in stride. You know, if you have strong corners, he suffers with them. So they're stoppable. I'm not really concerned about the defense as much. I'm actually pretty impressed with Greg Williams for the most part. You know, if you watch the past few games, our defense has been holding teams to respectable scores given what we have in offense. I'm just more concerned about offense. And I think that Gase has to keep to his word, right? I don't trust anything he says. I think he's a clown. But he said that he wanted to use Bilal Powell and Montgomery more. He did say that. So if he's saying that, we need to see split backfields. We need to see, like you said last week, more bootlegs, guys moving out the pocket. Sam is excellent. Oh, not excellent, excuse me, but he's good out the pocket. He's good when plays break down. Move the line, get guys in motion so you can't just hone in. Last week, Luke Falk, it was pathetic. You literally just had him in the pocket all day, didn't do anything to really move him around or nothing, and he got killed. I thought he almost, died. I can't remember which sack it was, but the guy was on the ground, and these guys got 10 sacks on him. So it's up to Adam Gase. Look, your defense could be a lot more effective if you give them a breather. Give these guys a breather. Give them a chance. You said Robbie Anderson's been getting open. Get it to Robbie Anderson. Stretch the field. It doesn't even if you have incompletions or they're close, whatever, make it so you can't have guys just honing in on the offensive line. Help the offensive line with better play calling, and you might have a closer game.
And I think you hit the nail on the head here. And the one thing I'm worried about, other than horrendous offensive play calling, is the defense being on the field the whole time. And that's where Ezekiel Elliott will just wear you down. You may stop him for the first quarter and a half, maybe the first half, but if you're on the field 40 minutes, by the third quarter, you're done. You're going to be arm tackling. He's going to be scoring touchdowns. So I agree with you. The defense has the ability to hold their own. I still have some concerns with the passing game. With you have Cooper, you have Gallup, you have Austin. They have playmakers, and the Jets don't have speed. And even at Tavon Austin, to me, he's the X factor. The Jets don't have that type of speed in the secondary to keep up with these guys. So I'm a little bit worried there. But I think the biggest thing is Adam Gase. Like, is he going to have the team prepared? Is he going to have a smart game plan where Sam could get acclimated to the game, not run for his life, and get first downs? Like, they got to establish some kind of identity sooner or later. And I don't know. Like, I just some of these matchups I don't feel good about, especially like you said,
can I ask a question real quick?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Does Sam call the play? Can he call audibles or plays to the line? Is he given that responsibility?
Supposedly he can. Supposedly he has the ability to check out a play. That's what Adam Gase said in the during training camp. I don't know how true that is, or if he can, but supposedly he can check out of things.
Yeah, because I mean, Sam is a smart guy. We're going to need a lot of that. And one more thing on the defense. Look, the Cowboys have weaknesses on the offensive line, right? Look, their offensive line is one of the best. Like Tyron Smith, I think, is coming back. But guys like Connor Williams, he struggles. So you can attack Connor Williams. Yep. He's a weak link. So on defense,
Leonard Williams got to do that.
Well, see, this is the thing about Leonard Williams, and I'm mad at Leonard Williams as well, right? I get pissed because I watch guys like Calais Campbell and Aaron Donalds, and it's like, damn, you wish you had that. The Jets don't have a legit pass rusher. So, and I know I don't want people to kill me. So when you have a guy like him, and yes, he does get double teamed, and yes, there are plays where he's dogging it. You're like, what the hell is he doing? But you see a lot more effectiveness from him if we had a legit pass rusher, like a Josh Allen, who we probably should have drafted. I know Quinn Williams might come along. Maybe probably should have drafted a guy like that. So, my bad.
I'm hearing what you're saying. I remember screaming for Josh Allen, and I was told that Quentin Williams was the legit pass rusher. He's the guy that you bring in so that Leonard Williams will be freed up because Quentin Williams is going to provide that pass rush and pressure from the interior. Am I correct, Tyson? Wasn't it interior pass rush? Wasn't that the phrase?
Yeah, but we actually our PFF grade for interior defensive linemen last year was actually good. We had
dude, you know what I'm so tired of? I'm so tired of these PFF. Dude, these PFF scores are garbage. The PFF told me Brandon Shell was good. That's what PFF told me. Every time I criticize him, every goddamn Jet fan sent me a message, stop picking on Brandon Shell, he's good. Stop picking on PFF told me that. Where's he at now? Yes. He's still good, though, right?
This is a Tyson we need. Yes. For the evil Tyson. I'm like Emperor Palpatine. This is beautiful. Let the darkness take hold of you. Let that nice talk. Don't thank me for my calls. Don't ask me about my day. I need the evil Tyson, man. I need that YouTube Tyson. When he gets on a video, you know it's just going to be depression and anger. That's the stuff that's my caffeine, man. But look, I know you guys are going to ask me what the score is. You guys got the call. So I think we're going to lose 31-17. I think it's just going to be a little bit too much for Darnold to get back. Even though I think he's going to give us a little bit of hope, I just think that Gase is going to go back to the run screen play. Mind you, he's probably the worst because I just looked at Marty Scheinheimer, and the guy was going 14-2 with the same run pass plays with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers. So Gase is just terrible. But anyway, I think it's going to be 31-17. We can't, like you said, they're going to just once they get a lead, they're just going to give it to Zeke, slow the game down, dink and dunk, find guys in the zone. So. Yeah, that's unfortunately my prediction. Hopefully Gase gets fired or something happens, but yeah, not that optimistic.
Thanks for calling it, man. We appreciate it. So, and for the videos that Guillermo was referencing, if you go on Let's Talk Jets Radio, we have a ton of videos. Everybody's got videos on there. We're pretty much doing one every day or every other day. So check them out. Yep. Leave your comments. We try to respond to them. There's a lot of comments, so we do our best to get back to them. We're having a lot of fun with them. And every once in a while, a curse word may slip out, so I apologize for those. It just happens, Joe. It's impromptu taping, man. Things happen with these things.
Yeah, you let them go early and often. I want to thank the last caller for calling in. But yeah, listen, this is going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game against the Cowboys, like you said. They got a massive front. We're going to try to find ways to get guys blocking. It's going to be a big test for Adam Gase. Let's see if he gets out-coached again this year.
Yeah. No. So we're going to got a lot of people here. We're going to go to CJ. Haven't talked to CJ in a while. CJ, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Well, the Jets are 0-4. They need a big win against the Cowboys, and we found about 13 reasons why they're not going to win.
Yeah, I could definitely ascertain that. I mean, I hate to throw gasoline on this raging dumpster fire, but it's encouraging to hear all of the fans that seem to think that, the Jets are going to steal one. And normally I would chime in and say, you know what, yeah, I could tell you this reason, I could tell you that reason, I could tell you the other reason, but the Cowboys themselves, look, the Cowboys are almost, in some ways, a mirror image of the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay? We just got our butts handed to us by a Philadelphia Eagles team that we could not even exploit their crappy secondary. And I've spoken to many Eagles fans about this, and they're also in agreement that the Jets never went deep. Matter of fact, the only creative play call was the end around that resulted in Vincent Smith's touchdown against the Eagles. Okay, which is the second offensive touchdown this season by the New York Jets. So if that's not depressing enough, okay, here's where I think, though, fans could be a little bit optimistic. Okay, if you take a look back at last week's game versus Green Bay pretty much owned the Dallas Cowboys up until the fourth quarter when they took their foot off the gas. And they made the mistake of taking their foot off the gas. And then the Cowboys had this furious comeback, and then all of a sudden we're hearing about how Dak Prescott's going to save the day, and Zeke Elliott's going to do this, and Zeke Elliott's going to do that. Look, I'm sorry. Dallas is a trash team. I don't care what their record is. They got their record by beating up on bad teams. Okay? You're going to talk to me about the Giants? Oh, they beat Daniel Jones. Ooh. Am I supposed to be impressed by that?
Yeah,
no.
but CJ, you can. Yeah, but dude, look at the Green Bay offensive line. Aaron Rodgers isn't getting touched.
Exactly. Right, exactly. Okay. And,
so I mean, can you say that about the Jets' offensive line?
No, because basically, the Jets' offensive line consists of two trash barrels, two rain barrels, and a traffic cone. Okay,
it's easy. But while we're insulting, it's easy to insult Dallas. But when you insult Dallas, you're going to say Robert Quinn and DeMarcus Lawrence and Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch can't get through offensive line and beat the hell out of Sam Darnold. I think they can.
Oh, of course they can. Because our offensive line is completely and utterly inept, and the changes that we were expecting in the bye week never really took place in the way that we all envisioned those changes to take place. Okay, like Ryan Khalil, as much as I have a lot of respect for the man, and I appreciate Joe Douglas talking him out of retirement, he's just not in game shape. He's not cutting it. Okay, because you're watching guys completely obliterate the front of the line as if he's not even there. Okay, Kelvin Beacham's a turnstile. Brandon Shell is a turnstile on the other side. I'm surprised that everybody who's over there, they don't start handing out Metro cards at the station, so that way they could just go and swipe and they could just go right in, to tackle the quarterback. I mean, it's ridiculous. The changes that we expected to see on the offensive line never really took place. And this is where, I'm sorry, I lay at the feet of Frank Pollock, and I also lay at the feet of Adam Gase. Because if you're an offensive guru, you have to tailor your play. You have to tailor your play calling around the deficiencies of your offensive line, like design rollouts, design bootlegs, two back sets, two tight end sets. I mean, our max protect consists of Le'Veon Bell and whoever he decides to send out there at tight end. That's your max protect. So it's the only thing that worries. The only thing that worries me is that Sam's going to come out. Even though he's been throwing the ball around in practice, is he really in game shape?
Exactly.
What are your
exactly? And I want to thank you for calling in, CJ. Look, I have that question as well. Not just about him being in game shape, because again, we talked to various people, and also people have called in, and we talked about mono, and how the effects on the body. Is he really over it? Is it good to go? Is there any lasting effects? Is he tired? Is it still kind of wearing on his body just a little bit? But also, the rust. He hasn't played since week 1 as well. So, yeah, he's been throwing the ball around, but is he going to come out there and be ready and actually throw strikes? So that's what I'm a little bit worried about as well, along with having to run for his life because the offensive line, hasn't been up to snuff since we started this season. I understand you think the Cowboys are trash, but I don't think they're trash at all. I think they have a lot of capability, especially offensively. I think defensively they can absolutely get after it. And so I'm looking at our personnel, and I'm looking at Adam Gase as well, and I'm saying, why don't you use our personnel a little bit better? You talk about rollouts and stuff like that. I just want him to actually use Montgomery and Powell. You know, I want to see this two-back set. We were consistently sold every week in preseason. Is that what you want to see as well?
Yeah, I actually want to pose this question to you guys because it's a mystery to me. Sort of like what came first, the chicken or the egg. Like, is there a reason why Ty Montgomery is not being used in this offense? Like, how about Bilal Powell? We're only using Bilal Powell in garbage time, and Trenton Cannon has just been relegated to special teams. What happened to this dynamic offense that we were promised? What happened to this bill of goods that we were sold in the offseason that the Jets' dynamic offense is we're going to be able to put points on the board? The teams are going to have to start respecting us. They're going to, I think the problem is Adam Gase is kind of being like Todd Bowles, where he's kind of scared to bench his veteran player Le'Veon, not bench him, but platoon out Le'Veon Bell. His excuse was there's not enough play calls. Well, that's not really true. When you're losing by 30 points, you take out Le'Veon Bell and you give everybody else more carries, or you don't have to go run, punt, give one of those runs to somebody else, or give them. There's a lot of things he could have did. So now it's like, all right, we're going to give you your pass for the first 4 games, which is a joke. And now, hopefully, we'll see it now with Sam Darnold because we'll have more plays and can spread the ball out. I don't necessarily buy that. I think Gase has mismanaged the team. He's mismanaged the plays and everything else. But that's where it's at. But, CJ, I guess my question for you is you kind of said the Cowboys were trash, but then you went on for the next 5 minutes bashing the Jets. If you had to do a game prediction, what would be your prediction for this game? Well, the problem is that the Cowboys have actually been able to beat up on bad teams, and I'm sorry, but we are a bad team. I hate to say it because I love this team. I bleed green and white, but it's aggravating to me to come out and to watch a team that it looks like every single week that they've played, they're actually regressing. They're taking steps in the wrong direction. So, and, we could blame it on injuries. We could blame it on, the offensive line. We could blame it on Adam Gase and his play calling. There's a plethora of different excuses that we can use. But until they figure out how to fix it, this team is going to still continue to be stuck in neutral, spinning its wheel. Now, there are 2 different ways in which the Jets could possibly be victorious. One, they actually make significant changes on the offensive line, in which maybe we see Jonathan Harrison at center, maybe slide Ajoa over to the other side, and actually dress people, like have multiple offensive linemen dressed, so if someone is suffering...
Wait a minute, you want to put hold on, a timeout. I got to say something, Joe. You want to put Adoga on the other side? You think Brandon Shell is bad. Did you see him last week? The rookie, he couldn't even see the guy in front of him. The guy sneezed, he fell over. And you want to put him on the blind side of the quarterback? Are you out of your mind?
Well, at this point, I'll try anything.
No. You're trying insanity, man. CJ, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it. Joe, I had to cut that off. There's no way. You can't put him on the left side, dude. There's no way. He will get somebody killed.
Yeah, look, I want to thank CJ for calling in. I kind of understand where he's coming from when he just wants to see something different, where you want to just change it up, just see what.
That'll be. But I don't. Death on the field.
Come on, man. He's just trying to give his take out there, and I kind of see what he's saying. Look, you want to see massive changes, like you said, along the offensive line. Ryan Khalil got to be benched. Got to bench this guy. Put in Harrison, see what happens. I think that's what along the lines of what he was saying, and even putting Chuma on the left side, which I wouldn't necessarily advise, because again, and I've consistently talked about this, Chuma is not ready, dude, and y'all saw that.
This is the perfect example of how opposite we are. This is the perfect example of how opposite we are. You're like, I wouldn't necessarily advise that, and I'm like, are you out of your freaking mind?
Listen, I wouldn't advise that, because again, Chuma is, like I said, he's a project. He is not ready, dude. He's just not ready. And it's no fault of his own. Hopefully
nothing. You lose.
You lose.
Good day, sir.
Good day. I'll tell you what. But I just don't think we have enough. And it was crazy, because it's crazy that he was talking about that, because what have we also been talking about as well coming into the season? We weren't just talking about the offensive line. We were also talking about the depth of the offensive line being a concern as well. Guys down or we need to make changes. Look how this is biting us in the butt. You know what I'm saying? When you blow through drafts and you keep blowing mid-round picks and then you try to, force-fit free agents in here, this is what happens. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not getting on anybody that was trying to back McCagnon like our producer or any of these other people that constantly came after me when I said anything about how garbage of a general manager he was and how criminally he neglected our offensive line, how that would cost us when we had, another young QB in here. I'm not bringing that stuff up. That's not what I do here. What I like to do is focus on positivity and focus on what we got at hand. And I don't know if you can make enough changes because we just talked about Khalil and Beecham, but are we going to talk about Brian Winters? That guy is trash. I mean, the way he's playing terrible. So I don't think you can make enough changes. I don't think we have enough guys that can actually step in and play that starting role. I mean, you want to put Tom Compton at right guard, good luck, because we'll see what we get out of him. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be tough. You just got to hope that Adam Gase puts together a game plan, runs some quick, some no-huddle stuff, and get the ball out of Sam's hands quickly. Because if he doesn't, I'm telling you, Sam is going to take shot after shot after shot, and it could be a lot worse for us going forward with Sam dealing with some of the issues that can come from that.
Yeah, the one thing is you kind of wish you can get like a starting five, like week in and week out, and like develop some chemistry and some rhythm and not be a revolving door every week. Like, all right, you're in, you're out. Like, I thought Alex Lewis played pretty well, but it's like I wish we had five good linemen that could all play at the same time.
Yeah, why don't we just make a trade for like Trent Williams? Why don't we just do that? Like, what is the whole?
You want to make moves? Oh, we don't do those, Joe. We're still trying to find a backup quarterback for 4 weeks. You know what I mean?
My bad.
This is a team that was comfortable playing Luke Falk week in and week out. You're going to say, why aren't we making moves? I mean, that right there speaks volumes. So,
but yeah, I mean,
I got to give Guillermo credit, dude. I got to give Guillermo credit, dude, because I was all calm and like quiet. He wanted the evil side, and just like that, dude, I'm back. I'm angry again now. Thank you, Guillermo. I'm pissed off again.
Well, listen, man, shout out to him as well. And, again, thank him for calling it. Look, at the end of the day, we need to do something here. And that's, I mean, to me, a very obvious, clear move that we can make. Even if we have to make, even if we have to trade away a second-round pick or a third-round pick, that type of talent, can you say that for sure you're going to get that in the third round or the second round? A guy that can be here for the next, maybe 4 to 5 years. Because I know he's in his 30s, but still 4 to 5 years with Sam here. That's amazing. And that guy's a starting left tackle. You could definitely put him at right tackle, clearly. So I don't know what's going on here, but I tell you what, we got to figure it out, because if we don't, like I said, there's a lot of things that can come from Sam getting hit constantly or seeing ghosts when these pass rushers aren't coming. He's seeing ghosts because he's so used to getting rushed. There are things that can come from that can really affect him for the rest of his career and really affect us as a franchise.
We're going to go to Bloomfield. Will in Bloomfield. What's up, man?
What's going on, fellas? It's been a while. The last time I actually called in is when Joe was saying that Marcus May was more of a dynamic safety than Jamal Adams. I don't know if you want to walk that back.
Oh, well, first off, I want to thank you for calling.
We'll stick to Jets Cowboys.
I got you.
No, I mean, we can cover that. No, I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, at the end of the day, I said that, yes, Marcus May, when healthy, I think was a more dynamic and better recovered safety than he is. And he would be. We've seen him have some solid games here as well. But again, he's playing like 30 yards off the line in his defense now, but we've seen him be solid. But again, the season is still light. We'll see as the season continues on. But now we have the Cowboys here looking at us right in our face. And I want to get your thoughts on this.
I had to throw a little stab in. I was just messing with you, man.
No, it's all good. But I want to get your thoughts on this, man. What are your thoughts on Adam Gase opening up the offense this week for Sam Darnold? Do you think he'll actually do that?
I think he'll attempt to. But to be honest, I'm not as optimistic as everybody else. Because everybody else feels like for some reason this is going to be the week where we get our first win. I mean, we're 0-4, offensive line is trash, quarterback hasn't played since week 1. It's a lot of different things. And believe it or not, even if they might have had a bad 2-game stretch or whatever, the Cowboys are a contending team. They are a Super Bowl contender. You know what I mean? I feel like. So just to feel like, they're going to walk in and it's going to be just an automatic win or it's going to be the week. I don't know what anybody has seen in the last 4 games to give them any type of hope or any type of indication that that's what's going to happen. So as far as for Gase, the best thing he could do is just try to spread the Cowboys out, honestly. have Le'Veon Bell go on the flex a little bit, use Crowder. But then that becomes an issue with depth, too. We don't really have any receivers behind, Crowder and Robbie. Robbie hasn't really done anything at all this year. And I understand that he's been, Luke Falk's been in there, but what do you really expect him? He's not even our backup. Simeon was our backup. Falk was our third stringer playing behind a terrible line. So what did anybody really expect him to go out there and accomplish? You know what I mean? And I'm definitely not going to bat for Falk, so don't take it like that at all, please. But what did we expect?
Yeah, but the only thing about spreading them out is you're taking away from the offensive line. So you have nobody in the backfield. You can't go an extra guy in there blocking. That's the kind of, if you go 4 wide or 5 wide and stuff like that, you could really expose Sam Darnold, don't you think?
I mean, yeah, but I feel like you can also kind of exploit the Cowboys. That's more quick hitters. That's more, crossing routes, underneath routes. I mean, it goes both ways. But I understand what you're saying. But I just feel like there's not really any adjustments or anything that we can do to really get a win Sunday.
Well, on defense, what are your thoughts about trying to slow down Ezekiel Elliott and Amari Cooper?
Honestly, I'm not as worried about Zeke as I am about Amari because I feel like our main focus is going to be Zeke. Probably going to try to load up the box, and that's just going to open up the play action, the over-the-top plays, and that's what Dak is really good for. He might not go out there and throw for 400 or 500 yards a game, but he works really good off play action. Plus, he can run the ball. So it's just, I feel like we have to just try to find a way to kind of not completely buy into just trying to stuff the run. You know what I mean? Because that's going to just leave us exposed. We know Jermaine Johnson's not going to be able to handle him one-on-one. I doubt Darryl Roberts is going to have any better luck. So,
yeah, is this the game where we see Leonard Williams really stand out and start to make plays, of impact when we really need them?
Honestly, from another guy, he hasn't shown anything. His track record is, people have all the excuses. Yeah, he gets double-teamed a lot, and I understand that, but he hasn't even had a sack. Like, he hasn't really had too much pressure. I don't really see him being a difference maker in the game at all. I feel like we should have tried to trade Leonard Williams and get what we could for him. I don't see you saying.
I tend to agree with. I tend to agree with you.
What are we going to do at the end of the year? We're going to give him $14, $15 million a year. The guy's going to have 2 sacks at the end of the year. Like, what are we paying him for?
Yeah, I don't want to give him $14 million for this year. I want a refund.
Another guy I'm concerned about too, contract-wise, at the end of the season, Robbie Anderson. Another guy, like I said, he hasn't really performed. Like, do you feel comfortable giving Robbie Anderson between $10 to $12 million a year? Because I don't.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, Will, you look at all these mismatches or matchups. What are your predictions for the game?
Oh man, it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be Cowboys. I say 38-17.
Oof.
But I think 38-17. And another thing, the Cowboys in general, they're just a traveling team. Anywhere they go, you see a lot of Cowboy fans. We're an 0-4 team. Jet fans barely are alive in that stadium, so it's pretty much a home game for the Cowboys. Like, we have no advantage in this game. Yeah, they might be a little excited because Sam's coming back, but at the end of the first quarter, when you're down 10-0, and people start booing, it's going to be a whole complete different story.
Will, thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
All right, man. Sorry, I didn't want to be negative, guys. Just,
Don't worry, I'm negative too, man. Don't apologize to me. I'm obviously I'm the king of darkness, so it's fine. I'm the evil empire, I guess.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But he makes some good points, Joe. And the one thing I completely agree with is there's a lot of pressure to start off fast. There's a lot of pressure on Adam Gase. There's a lot of pressure on Sam Darnold. And the stadium environment, I think there's going to be excitement initially. I'm sure Fireman will have the place cranking. But it's like you have to do something. You've got to make an impact play early on. You can't get hit with a big deep pass to Cooper, or you can't get hit with a pick six or something stupid, or you got to feed off the energy and get something going early, Joe, or it's going to be ugly.
Yeah, first off, I want to thank the last caller for calling in. I love talking to him. I hope he calls in more often because we haven't heard from him in a little bit. But listen, the stadium environment is going to be what it is. There's going to be tons of Cowboys fans there. I mean, I was there for the Browns game. There were tons of Browns fans in there. Like the caller said as well, the Cowboys fans travel extremely well. I mean, we already have a long history of having no home field advantage. Other teams come here and it just feels like their stadium. Cowboys fans are going to make it feel that way as well. So I know Fireman Ann's going to go in there. He's going to do his best, but I don't know exactly who's going to be there doing the Jets chant because you ain't going to have nothing in there but Cowboys fans. So they've got to come out. They've got to play hard and fast. They've got to, like you said, they've got to start quick. They can't get behind. I think if you get down, and I think they will, but if you get down 14 points, then or even 21 points, Ed Gase is going to have to abandon whatever garbage-ass game plan he's coming out with, and he's going to have to make adjustments and improvise and do what he needs to do on the right down the hand. And I think he'll fail at that. So they've got to come out. They've got to put up points, and they've also got to dominate the time of possession. They've got to keep the football out of the Cowboys' offensive hands. So I don't know how they're going to do that, but they've got to figure it out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The last thing you want is, Ezekiel Elliott getting 30 carries or 25 carries. That defense over time just gets tired. He just wears you down. He's just a wrecking ball. So we're going to go to holy cow,
before we go, I'm sorry, but like you said, you don't want to get worn down by Ezekiel Elliott. And that's why when people are saying, well, if we hold Zeke to 100 yards, you hold Zeke to 100 yards? That's not saying much, because that means that, they're going to be able to work that play action and really get over on other stuff that's happening, offensively as well.
We're going to go to Omar in New York. What's up, Omar?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Not too bad. How about you?
Pretty good. Listening in, enjoying all the takes, enjoying the conversation.
What's your thoughts on this game, man? You think this is a game the Jets can win, or the odds kind of stacked against them?
I kind of feel like the odds are stacked against them, and it's really two things. One, definitely the offensive line. I'm curious to see how they handle DeMarcus Lawrence. I know Tank hasn't had the best time so far, but he's still an elite pass rusher, and it doesn't matter where he lines up, if it's Kelvin Beachum or if it's on Adoga or Adoga. I see him beating either one of them. That worries me. And then two, it depends on Darnold. How much rust does he have? Because I know he's ready to play, and we know mentally he's there. We all know mentally he's there, but physically is he actually there? Because even in the first game, we saw him miss a couple of deep balls down to Robbie when he might have been dealing with a little bit of mono. So I'm curious to see how that affects him, like with the rust, how that affects him coming in, and if that affects Gase's play caller. I'm very curious for that. If he's going to call it like he did in the first game, where he's kind of timid, doesn't really want to unleash Darnold, doesn't want to take chances down the field, that dictates the whole game right there. If he unleashes Darnold and lets Darnold just fly, take those chances, live with the results, I could see us having a decent chance. Not blowing them out, but having like a close game, maybe like, we win 17-14. If not, we're going to get blown out like the last guy said.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for calling in, and I see your point there. I think one of the things that Gase has to do is he has to take a deep shot to keep the Cowboys honest. It was the same thing I was saying about the Browns. If you don't threaten them and say, hey, I'm willing to take a couple shots at Robbie if you guys load this box, and let them know, hey, you got to respect me, or I'm going to get that CD. They're going to let off on things. They're going to bring the house every single time. They're not going to drop nothing but the kitchen sink, and they're going to be trying to, like I said earlier, they're going to try to decapitate him. They're not going to play around. So he's got to threaten them. He's got to let them know, hey, I got guys over here that can get behind your defense, and if you don't respect it, then you're going to pay for it. But for me, it's defensively that I'm worried, because I know for some reason there's a lot of Jets fans that think the Cowboys are trash, and I'm telling you,
no, they're not.
Cooper. Yeah, there's a guy named Amari Cooper. I don't think he's trash at all. And when you look at Tremaine Johnson, a guy who I actually think is trash, I am very worried about that matchup. What are your thoughts about that there?
Well, let's just put it into perspective, right? Right now, one of the best defenders or cornerbacks in the league, I consider, is Jair Alexander from Green Bay. And Amari lit him up. I mean, had Jair turning around, biting on double routes. Can you imagine what's going to happen to Tremaine on a double route? Oh, my God. It's going to be lights out. It's going to be lights out. And it sounds bad, right? But I'm being realistic, When you're seeing a top cornerback going up against a top wide receiver, and he's having a hard time containing them on a very good defense that has pass rushers like Green Bay, what's going to happen when Leo is sitting there packing his lunch, while getting stonewalled, and everybody else is not getting to the quarterback? and they have 5 to 6 seconds, what do you think is going to happen, you know? So I truly, truly believe that that's going to be – I'm really concerned about that too. I don't think we're going to be able to contain them. I feel like we're going to play bend, don't break, but I think eventually we're going to just break, if that makes sense. You know, I'm just curious to see when it will break. That's what I'm curious to see. First quarter, is it going to break? Second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter.
So what's your score prediction for Sunday?
I could see the Cowboys putting up maybe 24 and us putting up 14. So I have the Cowboys winning. I think we have too much to come over.
Omar.
And, yeah.
I agree. Thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
No problem, guys. Anytime.
Have a good night. It's interesting, Joe. I think it seems like everybody has the same concerns. Like, you have the wishful thinking like that where they're going to play well, they're going to do this. But then, like, the voice of reason kicks in where it's like, all right, Sam's going to be rusty. Our offensive line sucks. Yeah. Adam Gase is questionable. Can the defense slow anybody down? I mean, it's like slowly but surely like the reasoning comes in. So we'll see what happens. We're going to go to a lot of calls, man. Holy cow. We're going to go to Ryan in Brooklyn. Ryan, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
We're doing all right, man. We're trying to find ways for the Jets to win this game. I'm not really buying into it, though. So what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'm glad Sam is back. You know, I don't know if I could take another week of Luke Falk. Luke Falk just could not read any NFL defenses. You know, it was hard. It was really painful. We could barely get first down. So I'm excited Sam is back. I don't really feel that good about this matchup because, I mean, you know, the last caller just said it, and I was going to bring that up too. Amari Cooper absolutely smoked Jerry Alexander from the Packers last week, and if Tremaine Johnson is on him, you know, he's going to put up another 200 yards. So, I mean, I really hope they play Nate Harrison. I don't know if his knee is good, but, you know, I thought he did okay against Odell for week 1. I know Odell got the 75-yard touchdown, but that was more of against Neville Hewitt. That was really just broken down coverage. I just feel like Amari Cooper should be double-teamed basically, you know, throughout the entire game.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, that could be a game plan that they go with. I could see them sliding Marcus May down there because, again, his forte is coverage and trying to take Amari Cooper away. But then you look at the other side and you go, who's going to stop Gallup? Who's going to be, you know, we can't double everybody. Like, we got to figure out what's going on here. But for me, the biggest concern for me outside of Amari Cooper is trying to slow down Ezekiel Elliott. Do you think this defensive front is going to be able to do that?
Well, I mean, we'll see if Tyron Smith and, you know, Lyle Collins are going to play. They both didn't practice all this week. A couple callers ago said, you know, Connor Williams sees a weak spot to begin with. So if Dallas are down 2 or 3 offensive linemen, you would hope that, you know, players like Quinnen Williams, Leonard Williams, they could at least, you know, maybe not shut him down, but if you can contain him to 60 or 70 yards, I mean, you're giving yourself a chance in this game. You know, guys like Neville Hewitt, he's been playing pretty well this year. Obviously, it's a big blow that Mosley's not playing. But, yeah, I mean, if Leonard, you know, if this is his week, and not even in terms of sacks or pressure, because I don't even expect that from Leonard anymore. I'm disgusted by him. But, if he could help out in the run game and contain Zeke, you know, it would really help this week, I think.
What are your expectations for Sam Darnold on Sunday?
You know, I'm hoping for I don't really want to put, like, statistics on it. I would like, you know, at least 2 touchdowns this week, and you know, and a couple good drives. I mean, I'm just, you know, you look around the league, and you guys have brought it up before. I'm not really sure why we played Luke Falk for 3 NFL games. Like, obviously Simeon went down. We know, you know, I was at that game, so you couldn't do anything for the Browns game. But then, you know, the Patriots game and then the Eagles game. You know, they're tough games to begin with. We all knew that. But you know, why we didn't sign someone, even someone like Brock Osweiler, who stinks, and they at least, you know, he at least has played in NFL games and had, you know, moderate success. So with Darnold, you know, this team should look, I don't want to say a lot better because, you know, but I mean, there's no way they can go down from here. And granted, I know the offensive line has been terrible. That's probably not going to change. You know, we made 2 changes last week with Assembly out, Alex Lewis. He actually played pretty decently at left guard. He'll be there again this week. Unfortunately, you know, Chuma, he was not good last week, but, you know, I'm glad that he's playing right now to see, you know, hopefully he gets better. You know, he's obviously just a rookie. Brandon Shell, Brandon Shell sucked for a while. So, and this is what happens. You know, you guys have said it. We've ignored offensive line here for years with McCagnon, and we're really paying the price for it. You know, we tried with Khalil, and you know he's obviously washed up. Like it's insane because it's not even like the first couple of weeks. Like no rookies are playing. A lot of these guys have been in the league for 5+ years, and we can't pick up like stunts. You know, like pretty basic stunts, and it was mind-boggling to me.
It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. If you sit and watch and look at how bad they've played, it's really ridiculous. It's like amateur football. It's insane. So Ryan, you gave us really good analysis and insight. What is your prediction for Sunday?
I'm going to go Cowboys 26-19. I'm hoping for a close game. It will be great. I don't think anyone's brought it up, but every single game I believe outside of the Bills game, we've let up a first drive touchdown on defense. So it would be pretty cool if we didn't do that. And granted, the defense has played pretty well for this, given how much our offense, given how much time they're on the field. But I'm hoping for a close game. It's at home. Unfortunately, we barely have any home field advantage. But if we could stick around for a while, we could make it a game, and I hope we do that.
Excellent call, man. Thanks for calling, and we appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too. Dude, we got really good calls tonight, man. Everybody's breaking it down. It's like we started out with a lot of positivity, and I think slowly but surely the emotions of Darnold, coming back kind of kicked in. Then he's kind of fades away. Like, wait, hold on a second. They still have Lawrence and Quinn and Cooper and Zeke, and it's interesting, Joe. Not a lot of Kool-Aid on one side and a lot of Kool-Aid on the other.
Yeah, well, first off, I want to thank our last caller for calling in. He was great. Hope to hear from him again, in the future. But listen, I think what a lot of people, and I've said this before, I've told multiple people, especially on social media, a lot of people think Sam coming back is like some magic trick where everything is just going to be fixed because Sam is here. And that's not the truth, dude. Sam does not play left tackle. He don't play center. He's not the guy that puts together the offensive game. He's not the offensive coordinator. Like, there are issues on this team outside of Sam that can greatly affect his play, but there's nothing he can do about it. He cannot block Lawrence. He can't block Jalen Smith. He can't block any Van Der Esch or any of these guys that are going to be screaming down upon him, but the guys that are put in front of him to take care of that, can greatly impact what he does. Because, again, everybody's saying he's just got to get the ball out of his hands quick. If there's nowhere for him to go, because if you're the Cowboys and they have a great defensive coordinator, okay, I see you guys can't block. I'll go into press man coverage. It's going to throw off the timing of what you do, and you got to get the ball out in 3 seconds. Figure it out. Because there's nowhere for you to go with the ball. Yep. So what are you going to do? You going to throw an interception? Okay, I get the ball back. What are you going to do? You going to throw it into the dirt? Okay, I'll get the ball back because you're going to punt on 4th down. So what are you going to do? And so that's what the game becomes. If you can't get guys blocked, or you're not going to adjust offensively to do anything, I'm going to absolutely disrupt and destroy everything that you're doing. And then you keep giving them the ball, and before you know it, you're down 21. And then you got to abandon whatever game plan you came with. I mean, it's just that simple. And so, look, I understand a lot of people are very positive about Sam coming back. I am as well. This is my favorite guy, point blank period. I want to see him succeed here. But, man, there are some issues here that need to be shored up in the future. But if they don't, I'm telling you, it's going to greatly affect him and the direction of this franchise. So we've got to figure it out. But I see a lot of fans are looking at it and saying, hey, everything's good because he's back, but there's some other issues here.
We're going to go to Houston, Texas. Go to Mike. Mike, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Oh, Jets, Cowboys, we're trying to figure out a way to win this game, and I don't think Joe nor I are sold on that. So what do you think?
Oh, man. I came in kind of late, so I heard about 3 callers, and, man, they all got some great insight that I agree with. But, I guess I would add to that. So if you guys are asking me how do I think it's going to go, are you guys asking me how I think it's going to go?
Yep.
Oh man! All right, so I mean, I gotta be honest with you. The fact that Sam is coming back, I feel like brings, as corny as it sounds, it brings a lot of energy because you can You could. I don't know if any of you guys follow Jamal on Twitter. You can see Jamal Adams is just completely psyched. So is Lev Bell. And you were right when you guys said that Sam Darnold is not like a, he's not a magician. He's not going to fix all this other stuff. But I mean, you throw him in, and at least he'll be passing more than the line of scrimmage than what Luke Falk was doing, and that was excruciating to watch. I got to be honest with you guys. I've only been a Jets fan for 9, 10 years. I'm sure you guys were more. But this was the absolute worst, I don't know if you want to call it luck, or worst start to an organization during a year, whether it's basketball, baseball, whatever, I've ever seen in my life. So there's literally, I'm talking to the point where I was this close to crying from how horrible they made me feel.
Yeah.
I just don't think it'll get worse. Honestly, it's just impossible.
Yeah. And look, I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, I'm right there with you. I mean, Sham going out for mono really sucked for me, but then watching this offense has been. It's been a punishment, man. I really feel like what did I do to deserve this? You know what I'm saying? Goodness gracious, I just want to go to Steve's basement and just hide. You know what I mean? I don't even want to watch the game. Just lock me in Steve's basement. You know what I'm saying? Me and Leonard Williams, just lock us both. It doesn't matter. He ain't doing nothing no way. So I'll just be down there with him in Steve's basement, and we'll just have a good old time. But man, listen, it's been awful. But you look at this situation. Sam's back now, and I hear what you're saying. He's better than Falk. He does have more talent, but I'm worried about him just being able to be protected. I don't think this offensive line is going to fare very well. They didn't fare very well against the Eagles, nor the Browns, nor the Bills, nor the Patriots. And so I'm looking at this situation. I'm saying the Cowboys are coming in there. They're hungry. They're coming in here with pass rushers, guys that can get after it. Do you think that Adam Gase will be able to keep Sam protected and upright in this football game, maybe with some inventive play calling?
It's a good question. Here's what I think. I think, let's just say the game's on. I think right out of the gate, let's just say in the first couple drives, the first quarter, if we see that the play calling is Sam dumping it off to Jameson Crowder or Le'Veon Bell into the line of scrimmage, we're done for. Because Gase is not going to change up the game plan if that's what we start off with. We gotta be explosive right out the gate. If we want Sam Darnold to shake off the rust, then we just gotta fling the rock. Just keep the Dallas defense, honest, humble, whatever, and stretch the field. If Gase was saying Robbie gets open, but we're not giving him the ball, so then make it happen right out of the gate. So that way the linebacker, because the Cowboys linebackers are crazy, they're so good. That the way their only focus is not on Lev Bell. You know what I mean? And with the O-line, you can't cover it up. Let's be honest here. But at least it's not Luke Falk where the guy stays in the pocket and he holds the ball for too long. Sam Darnold has the ability to at least buy himself and maybe an extra second and roll out to his right and by himself and his receivers and even Le'Veon Bell, maybe a couple second or two. So there's no way that Gase is going to right this ship with the O-line. It's impossible. What's done is done, in my opinion. I do think that Sam Darnold is going to be able to just buy us some time. But if we have the same game plan that we did in Game 1, dumping it off to Jameson Crowder, there's no way I see the game going well. We gotta shoot. We kind of have to shoot the rock down the field, or at least some midfield type of throws to really just open things up. If not, then Sam Darnold's going to be rusty throughout the game. That's the only way to get him going. You gotta make these plays because it can't be any worse. And if everyone's saying that, oh man, Gase has an excuse, he had a third string quarterback, O-line is garbage. Okay, then this is it right here. You got your quarterback. I don't think he's sick anymore. This is your chance right here. And kind of just a wild prediction. I don't know if it's too wild, but just a wild prediction I want to give to you guys. We got two very tough matchups coming up, Cowboys and Patriots. I think the Patriots are right after. If we get blown out I don't think we're going to get blown out this game, but I think we're going to lose, not to be negative, but if we get blown out really badly in the Patriots, and especially with the game after that, because I think our schedule gets open up, I think Gase gets fired for sure. I think he for sure gets fired before even the last few games.
But first of all, Mike, excellent call, and thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem.
You know, Joe, and that's an interesting take on Adam Gase getting fired. We'll kind of cover that on a Tuesday show. But you know, the expectations for this game are it seems like all the fans are excited, and you're cautiously optimistic. But if I have to do my preview, we kind of wrap things up a little bit here. Is like I'm excited Sam is back. I'm extremely nervous about his welfare in terms of how rusty he is. Is he ready to take a hit? Can he bounce back from a hit? How conservative the play calling is going to be. I think Adam Gase will not open the playbook. I think he'll be very conservative to make sure he protects Sam, which means a lot of Le'Veon Bell running the ball, all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of confidence in the offense. Like I want to buy in and say, okay, Robbie Anderson, they'll use him and they'll use Crowder. I'm just not sure if the offensive line can hold their own. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Jalen Smith. I was a fan of his Notre Dame, but he is just an ultra-fast linebacker. And those guys fly around, man. Him and Van Der Esch, they just fly. Sean Lee, who was always hurt, he kind of taught them how to play linebacker at a very high level. And it's impressive to watch. So you add in Robert Quinn, you add in Tank, and all these other DeMarcus Lawrence, all these other guys. It's just defensively, I think Dallas is going to do some things against the Jets and going to really challenge Adam Gase. And I think he will get outcoached by Chris Richard. I just think he will.
Yeah.
Our defense against their offense, I don't have really that much. I think our defense can hold their own, but I think the difference is the Jets' defense is getting a lot of credit for being good when, in theory, they got very lucky that Nelson Aguilar can't catch the ball. They've caught some breaks where the Eagles had much bigger plays there that just weren't connected, where Amari Cooper is a much better player. I think Gallup's a better player. And the one call made an excellent point where Ezekiel Elliott out of the backfield is a phenomenal pass catcher. He made some catches last week. You're like, Jesus, it's like Le'Veon Bell, dude. The same kind of hands. So if you add in that, where you add in our linebackers aren't exactly great against pass catching running backs or tight ends, I think there's some things there too. So for me personally, I want to see a competitive game. I want to see it close. I'd love to see a win. I want to see all of this. I'm tired of lousy football. I can't take any more. But I think it's a lot to ask to win this game, especially them coming off a loss, especially in front of 40,000 of their own fans. So I'm going to go, I'm going to say like 28-13 Cowboys. I just don't see it, man. I really don't.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to start with the Cowboys defense first against our offense. And you kind of said some of the things I was going to say. I think Ezekiel Elliott coming out the backfield and catching the ball, I think is going to be a pretty big part of their game plan as well. I think they'll be able to run the football on us too. I think they're going to, there's going to be some times where Zeke is going to run through holes that are really, really big and have us frustrated in this game. I can foresee that. I definitely think that defensively for the Cowboys, I think they're going to absolutely be able to get after Sam. I think our offensive line is going to falter yet again. I think we'll also see a lot of pre-snap penalties too. I think they're going to bring Jaylon. I think they're going to bring Van Der Esch. Quinn is going to come off that edge, and he's just really going to let Sam have it. And I think Sam is going to struggle. I don't think he'll turn the ball over necessarily, but I think it's just a lot of nothing. Just same thing we saw in that Bills game where we got those turnovers, but we just weren't able to move the ball at all. It was just no first downs, no nothing, and you were just getting off the field. I think that we'll struggle there. I think offensively or defensively for us matched up with their offense. Like I said, I think Ezekiel Elliott is going to have a day coming out the backfield catching the football. I think Dak is going to be able to run it around. I think the nightmare matchup with Tremaine Johnson and Amari Cooper, man, he's going to have a field day with Tremaine. I absolutely think he is. And I also think a guy, Michael Gallup, I think is going to have some catches in this game as well, and I think he'll expose Roberts. I think we're just going to have a really hard time slowing them down. I think we'll come out with that conservative dink and dunk nonsense, and I think before you know it, we'll be down, 14 and 21. He's going to have to abandon it, like I said earlier in the show, and that's just when all hell is going to break loose. And I think the Cowboys are going to beat us 34-7. 34-7.
Oof.
That's it.
Yeah, like I said, we've been wrong many times before, and the goal of the show is not to be negative or anti-team. It's just the way we feel. Like I try to look at it as a rational fan, where it's like matchups. And, yeah, it's just matchups. Yeah. And if anything, we're honest. And hey, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to see the Jets win this game. It'd be great to win a game and not be 0-5, but I don't see it. So, as we wrap things up, check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Talk Jets Radio, on YouTube. Check out YouTube, subscribe. We are cranking out content like crazy. Let's Talk Jets Radio there. And Joe, a 2-hour preview show. The fans are still fired up. It is your time to wrap things up and shine.
Yes, absolutely. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote our Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search Let's Talk Jets Radio. Like that page, our content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message us. We'll message you right back. We love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave us some feedback. We love hearing about what you folks think we do here on Let's Talk Jets Radio. I'm also on Twitter as well at YoungJ000. That's 3 zeros. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back. Don't troll me. No issues. I am the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Darnold jersey on. He's back, and he's playing this week, so I'm excited. So we can go back and forth on there as well. I'm also on YouTube at YoungJ00. That's 2 zeros on YouTube, 3 on Twitter. I do videos about the Jets. I'll continue to do that throughout this entire season. I also do a weekly pick-em. So, tune in to see my picks and subscribe to my content on there as well. If you want to troll me, no issues, we can go back on there as well. I'll troll you on there as well. And as always, people, when you see me in person, okay, it is arms out, chest open. Come on, man. Show me the money! Man, first it was that garbage-ass theme song from your garbage little squad that you cheer for, that trash school that you follow. It's like, and now you're doing this. Look, I'm just saying, if you end up in Steve's basement, that's going to be your business, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to shove you in Steve's basement, lock you away for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We lock you in there, and I think you'll understand what's going on around here. Because you're telling lies on me, man. I've never made the people pay not one dime for a hug ever, ever, ever. Listen, folks, when you see me in person, again, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone, okay? These hugs are absolutely free. I want to thank you folks for listening and calling in. Without you folks, we are absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to call in and talk to us. You folks are the absolute best. And again, folks, don't forget, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Go get yourself checked. Also do your own self-checks aware. Breast cancer, again, yes, women get it, but also men get it as well. We got a lot of male listeners. Go get yourself checked, too. Get involved. Essex County Sisters Network. It's all over all of our social media platforms. Go over there and donate and help out with that foundation if you can.
Enjoy the game on Sunday. We will talk to you guys on Tuesday, and here is a message to Adam Gase.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
Talk to you Tuesday.